Greetings, viewer. Previously, I spoke about modern non denominational evangelicalisms, missions, and post missions. In this video, I will discuss quote unquote my spiritual puberty and then COVID. I was told during my 2018 mission that I had a call to public ministry by one of my teammates. This will come up later in this video alongside other videos within this series. Coinciding with my mission of 2018 was a change in the leadership of the church that I was involved with at the time. The music pastor at the time, he had moved to Tennessee and a new worship director was appointed. I want to be as careful as I can in discussing the next couple of years of this story, as I would prefer not to accidentally disparage anyone who was involved. I attempted to pursue this call to ministry in the church that I was involved with in 2019 within the midst of some tension that had developed between the new worship director and I. A couple of things had happened that I'd like to point out. I talked to the lead pastor about potentially interning to the church to pursue ministry, something which he agreed and was amenable to. And he had the aforementioned worship director as the POC from the staff side. Another interesting thing that happened is that I came to the idea that I should read the Bible for myself and that I should see what makes sense in the Bible and that whatever that is, take it and run with it. And here's what I came up with. I came up with the fact that Jesus at some point had a beginning, basically semi-Aryan Christology. Yeah, exactly. I don't know what bothers me more. The fact that reading the Bible, I came to a Christology that had been deemed heretical by the entire church over the past 1700 years, or the fact that I told this to the lead pastor that I believed that Jesus had a beginning, and he saw no issue with it and was still fully intent on bringing me on to the internship process for going into ministry. In retrospect, I could now say, thank God all that stuff fell through. Despite the aforementioned tension, the worship director did try to work with me in terms of the internship, alongside other stuff. But around September of 2019, one of the pastors, the worship director, and I sat down. We had a conversation, the result of which was the pastor telling me, we're not asking you to leave the church, but we're going to pull you from the music rotation for the rest of the year, and we're going to put your internship on hold. Those may not have been his exact words, but that's just me recounting something that happened 7 years ago. Given that I had been the lead piano player at this church for years until that point, I figured a little bit of a break wouldn't hurt. Separate from this, I sat down, had a good conversation with some Catholic friends of mine, and we talked all about the ins and outs of Christian faith and practice from like 7 p.m. to like 2 in the morning on a random Wednesday in the summer of 2019 in Oxnard, California. Looking back after the fact, I think this was God telling me that I was very errant in my semi-Aryan Christology, even though at the time, neither my Catholic friends, nor any of the pastors, nor the worship director would make any mention of my long condemned heresy and how public I was with it. Nobody in my life had told me I was wrong, which is ironic because that's a lot more of a legitimate reason for someone not to go into ministry than any of the reasons that any of the staff at the church had given me. Although, interestingly enough, I would play at a Sunday afternoon service for like every single week, as well as a litany of other ministry opportunities for the remainder of that year. Side note, I was fully aware that I was in opposition of the long established consensus of Christianity in regards to Arianism. In 2020, a second conversation with the pastor and the worship director, as well as a second pastor, had happened. The second pastor is somebody who was a personal friend of mine and still is to this day. While I was still on hold, I took the opportunity to explore other ministries that the church had to offer, which was something that I'd wanted to do anyways. Though hold or not, or internship or whatever, it was a moot point because this second conversation was the end of January 2020, and what would happen mere weeks later. All the COVID shutdowns. And once again, this was in California, the first state to shut down, and boy, did they shut down. In the next video, I'm going to discuss more about what happens with the COVID pandemic, particularly with the George Floyd protests and riots, and generally a new season. To my viewers, peace.